Hello everyone, how are we doing today on this lovely Wednesday afternoon? At least it's Wednesday afternoon for me. But regardless, I hope you're having a good time wherever you are and whatever day and time it is for you. So, like I said in the description on this, we are back in City Skylines and we are going to be working on our industries today. So just a quick once over if you are new and you've not seen our city before. We started out here in what is currently called Garland District. That is honestly just the default name that the game gave to it. So that was our initial little residential area, and then this was our initial industrial zone. We have a 4-star agricultural industry here, and as you can see we kind of started spreading out here and up here for our residential areas. And today we have our oil industry here, which we can extend out to the left a fair bit, and we have also some ore industries that we can start going through and developing. And of course, in amongst all of that, we will also need a bit of space to do our residential area, which I am hoping to do about here, and just make sure we have a good buffer for all of the noise pollution that is going to be coming off the highway. So we had set this up in the previous stream, so our oil industry has 3 stars. We have more than enough workers until the next level, and we just basically need 2,000 more units produced until we can reach level 4. So for the time being, while that is going to be pretty much just left to its own devices, we will set up a new industrial area which is going to cover both of our ore sectors. Go across the bridge and into here, and admittedly the slightly elevated area on this is going to make things interesting to try and develop our ore industry in this area, but hey, it's a challenge, so let's go for it. So first off, we are probably going to need some kind of on and off ramps so that people can, you know, actually get on and off these different areas. Thankfully this is a 4-lane bi-directional road, so just making sure that we have a good connection off the road is probably going to be the best option. So we want to be looking for a 2-lane bi-directional road. So that is a small industrial one. So yes, if you're seeing a lot of roads in here that you don't have access to yourself, this is a modded game. So I have quite a few different roads available for us. So could go for a basic road with a turning lane, or 3-lane asymmetrical, or we could honestly just go for a small lane 4-lane road, which I think we will go for. So we want unmodded road placement behavior, so that we don't just basically carve a section through this territory. That is, forces the use of tunnel, forces the use of bridge, forces use of elevated pieces, and forces the ground to follow the elevation of the road. So just double check that we have that selected. And where would be the best place to branch off? Probably just as we actually, I was going to say just as we enter the nope, you're not going to like that at all, are you? Now you're going to be fussy. Okay. Well, if you're going to be fussy... then... okay, let's just see if I can figure out a way to actually get this working, because this may be a slight annoyance. Ah, there we go. So that works. So it is going to be quite steep, so it might be better to come back here and get started on this section instead. Okay, there we go. So our first little bit of road is laid down, and let's go back to that small 4-lane road that we saw. Where was it? There. So upgrade those, and obviously as this is a new intersection, we want traffic manager to come through, so we can say you can only go right in this lane, you must always go straight, you can only go left, and you must also go straight, and then you can only go left, and you can only go right. So that should help with traffic flow at like pretty much from the immediate section. And we will put a giveaway sign here and priority access to the through road, and we will leave that and just essentially see how it goes. So while we're actually building the road, I'm going to turn on our natural resources so we can see where the boundary of the ore is in this area. And I'm just double checking that this is following the topography of the mountains. So, oh, hello there, lion sharks. Just who I wanted to see. Perfect compliment to my egg and cheese. Oh, hope you enjoy the stream, and I hope that you're having a good day. How have things been for you? So, the music is quite loud for me over here. I don't think it is impacting people listening to the stream, but if it is, just let me know and I will adjust it down slightly. Okay, so we can do across there, and we probably wanted to actually do that a little bit shorter so we can angle around to here without going too much into the water. Feeling really drowsy today. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, yeah, getting something to eat will help wake you up a little bit. I know it can help with me. So, and in between these areas we should have somewhere right at the end of this some industrial roads. No, I always say that. I always say, oh, at the end of this one we have our industrial roads, and then it never is, because it's always right here. So let's bring this in. Okay, that was again probably a bit too much. So we want it to be able to curve round fairly nicely and actually give us too much. Yes, let's put that there, and then branch off from about the middle of the road, so then we can put that there and there. Yeah. Yeah, walking and resistance bands in, had cold feeling. Oh, I hate that. Admittedly, my usual method for that is bundling up in a bunch of clothes, and then if that doesn't help, last resort is either cuddle down in a duvet or take a nice hot bath. Okay. So I will also say I've never actually really done an ore industry before, so I have no idea how big the buildings for this need to be. But we can put down our ore industry main building, which is going to be fussy because we don't actually have a non-curved road. Oh, Nope, it will just about go there. That's good. So we now have our small ore mine, our sand storage, and our ore grinding mill available. So it needs to be placed on a deposit inside the industry area. Okay, and I am immediately seeing my problems with this. Nice curvy roads do not work for this, so unfortunately if we delete these bits we are going to have to reconfigure that a tiny bit. Oh, yeah, East Coast is kind of a bit... You have to, yeah, make a few decisions on that, so I can understand that. Oh, East Coast, so you must be about 5 hours behind. So it should just be coming up to 2 PM where you are, I think. Is that correct? Yeah, 5 hours behind. Yeah, I've got a couple of other people that I talk to in the US on a somewhat regular basis, so I vaguely know some of the time zones, and it's always quite interesting because both, or when the clocks go forward and when the clocks go back, there is always a week or so where the time difference for the East Coast is either 4 hours or 6 hours, just depending on the way it goes. So anyway, we have an ore grinding mill. Yeah, everyone casually calls it the New York time. Well, I mean, New York's the only city on the East Coast that matters, isn't it? It's like if you go to Pacific time, so I'm pretty sure they probably call that Los Angeles time. And we have a sand storage. So this can be placed... Oh my goodness. Whoops. Okay, that... Yes, that may actually need to be... I may do a parallel road up here and put some of the storage buildings down. Because... Yeah, Lion Shark, I was being sarcastic about that. There are a lot of different cities on... Well, obviously both the East Coast and the West Coast that do matter. It's just obviously if ever... Or... Pretty much people think of East Coast US, they think New York. So let's put down an ore grinding mill. I don't want it too close to the entrance. So if we put it here... Okay, thankfully you did get that right. And yes, I will use the dropper tool here and create a little parallel road section for us. So if I want that to be probably... I'd say, okay, that is snapping to the grid slightly, so just turn that off and see, so 10 and 15. There we go, and do the same up here. And we need a bit more money, so we are going to just wait for that to tick in. Like, or on my... well, I'll say non-streaming days, I was having a look at a few other people's like videos and streams, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, it's like, how on earth do you have, like, you're building up your city just like I am. How on earth do you have so much money? Like, I'm sitting here waiting for funds to come in, and you're there with like 2 million credits or whatever. It's just, yeah, I don't get that. Like, how does that happen? So if we put this as close to there as we can. And apparently I completely forgot water connections. So we will put, once again, once we have enough money, we will put down a connecting road here, and then also remember to put down some water and electricity. Hello viewers. Thank you for the follow. Hope you find this stream interesting and entertaining. So where is our nearest water connection? It's probably just on this road here. Okay, do we have loans available to us? No, because I think we took out a huge chunk of them the other stream, which is annoying and unfortunate. Yeah, good to hear that you're doing alright. Okay, so whereabouts we can go up to there for now. And I will bump up the speed while we are waiting. Oh yes, yeah. The hack that happened on the oil, it wasn't oil rigs, it was like oil, gosh, I can't think of the right word, but it's basically like oil pipes where it's sent through everything across the east coast of the US. Yeah, we heard about that over here. Really unfortunate event. I'm just hoping that people are able to get that resolved like without too much issue. I've already heard that like oil prices and everything are starting to shoot up, and like gasoline and everything like that. Okay, so that should now be all powered and all electrified, for lack of a better word. And so 127 workers out of 150. So if we just bump this up with probably, I think, so that takes 45 workers. And that takes 25. So yeah, if I put down another grinding mill. Okay. Oh. Hey. I'm admittedly used to more UK prices on fuel, so for me, $3 a gallon sounds pretty okay, but obviously in the US you are used to a lot cheaper fuel prices. So yes, again, I hope it all gets resolved for you, because obviously it being not working is a bad situation, and then obviously that has knock-on effects for pretty much everything I can imagine. So we have those industries building up pretty nicely, and I think we remove these little sections that I added on. Hi Johnny, thanks for the raid, hope you enjoy the stream. Okay, so so if we create another branch off down, and we could probably go down to here and move that around. That will just give us another access point. And then if we go to there, and then so that will be the start of our residential section here, and then it also allows for probably residential access, and if I'm thinking that, it's probably going to be a good idea to put a district down so we stop having any heavy industry traffic come through. Yeah, $2.50 a gallon acceptable. Yeah. I was going to say, I think about $2.50 to $2.70 is about what you would reasonably expect from that. So we want city planning, and we want a heavy traffic ban on that. And we could also do Old Town. I don't know if that's a bit overkill, but let's try it. So only residents and businesses. Yeah, that may be... Yeah, okay, I'll call that a bit overkill, but we will just leave that as a residential... Or not as a residential, as its own little district. And you know what? We've got some mass transit options available. Let's see if we can start planning some of those in. I know we have... Okay, there's a bus route one, but that is one way. It's again one way. So there we go, a 3-lane 2-way road with bus. So a 3-lane asymmetrical 2-way road with a bus lane without parking spaces. So I actually just put down a tiny little section of that road so we can just have a peek at what that looks like. Okay, that seems to only be on one side of the road, unfortunately. Yeah. 2 years, $2 or lower was the norm. Oh. A 4-lane, 2-way road with bus lane. Let's have a look at that one. Yep, that one looks good enough for me, so we will start building up our residential area over here with a few bus lanes in mind. So, Lion Shark, I know you said you have City Skylines on the Switch. Do you actually have any of the DLCs with it, or is it just the game as standard? Turn back on road guidelines, and let's just see if we can, because we can obviously have probably a rectangle of it there and a rectangle of it there. So yes, I will start up here. Make sure we're not too close to the roundabout. And go down to... and put one up there. So this will probably be our main route through the residential area and around. So only the day, night and winter DLCs. That's a shame. Right, any game gets ported to the Switch gets the bare bones. That's a little disappointing to hear. I do have a Switch myself, but pretty much if I have the option to buy a game digitally on the Switch or digitally on the PC, I just have a preference for going onto the PC. It's just I have a much better computer. As you can see with my stream, I can have access to all kinds of mods and whatnot. But one thing I do tend to do for the Switch is, if a game is like multi-platform, I tend to rent it out on the Switch and see how it is, and then I can obviously decide like how much modding potential is there for this game. Do I want to go ahead and buy it for the PC for that, or would it be absolutely fine being played on the Switch? So we are just filling in some residential areas here, and obviously I want to make sure that we have at least a tiny bit of commercial, and we will just... I don't have water. Good thing I remembered to have a look at that before we actually had people start moving in. So I'll go through and add some water piping. Lion Shark says, yeah, I got Cooking Sim, just the base game with none of the updated conveniences or DLCs. Rather, PC Super Weak can barely run Minecraft. Yeah, I can definitely see where that would be an issue with that. Okay. We are not lucky enough to be able to cover the entirety of that section with just one water pipe, but we will just put another one through. And hopefully we should get some more houses being built across here, and we can build up across a temporarily power line. Yeah, so regarding PCs and power, I am very fortunate on my system. I built mine before all of the real crypto mining stuff and all of the shortage of silicone chips and everything. Why do I always connect the pipes? It's just a it doesn't feel right for me if I leave them open-ended. I just have this feeling that it's like it's just gonna get water everywhere. I know it doesn't do anything, I just like having it that way, if it makes sense. So how are we doing on power? We seem to be doing okay. And I'm wondering... Okay, there's an abandoned building over here, so we will just demolish that for now. A couple of places complaining that there's not enough highly educated or high enough educated workers. And also, as we have extended down, I think I will add another ferry point in. Traditional gameplay to make things a tad more difficult. I wouldn't necessarily say I do it to make things more difficult, but obviously it does mean that I spend more money on the water pipes than I technically need to do so. Okay, so how is this little ore industry doing? Oh, yep, we've got more than enough workers. We just need to have more resources. And the oil, halfway there again. This is, yeah, about 50% full. So we can obviously see quite a lot of the industrial traffic that's also coming down here along this main road and across there. And I just want to make sure, okay, yeah, I did put some residential, not residential, commercial zoning there. So I'll residential ones aren't going to complain too much about all of that noise and chaos and pollution. So also one thing that I will note is that I have also turned on the unlimited oil and unlimited ores option, so these industries here will pretty much be staying where they are for the entirety of time that this city exists. Oh, I can see some people stopping at this intersection. Let's just have a look at that. So, which way do I want that to be? So, that's give way, and then we'll do a similar lane management that we did over on the bridge. You go there, and you go there, and you go straight on, and you go there. So that should be fine now. So we've got a nice little residential section being built up, and we have... Okay, I look away for a moment and we have 160,000. Oh, right. Here's all the bus lanes. I didn't realise that, but never mind. So we can start putting in a bus lane for our areas. Okay, that wasn't quite where I wanted that one to start. If we come round here and over to there, just to give them a... No, actually I'm going to change my mind again. Okay, remove all of those. Have it more or less start there. And then we can come around and do that. Line Sharks, I respect that decision. Do think it's cool to limit the fossil fuels and stuff because it forces the eventual change to green fuels like in real life. Like, yeah, I can understand that point. I just... Oh, whoops. That was a misclick. It's like when I was like really getting into developing all of the industries and such, I just found it a little bit annoying that you'd spend all of this time and money, obviously, going around and creating and developing all of these brilliant industrial areas, and then as soon as the resources for the oil and like the oil and ore, that you would just basically have to completely demolish everything that you'd done and move things over to a new area. I just found that aggravating, but despite basically having this game since it released on PC, I've never really gotten that far into like proper city development. So who knows, perhaps one of these things, there will be a future stream where I turn those options off and we have a more focused like natural development from fossil fuels and mining to, like you said, green fuels and more environmentally friendly options. So we do have obviously the bus lanes around here. Now I think my question is going to be, because the bus depot is all the way over here somewhere, is that going to be... Yes, that does look like it's sending out the buses from there. So I may want to go and put a bus depot over where the industrial area is. And apparently I coloured this the same as one of my previous lines. So let's go with a nice hot pink for this one. Oh, and we do have a couple of buses already here, so that's nice. That is nice to see. So we will call this one, I think, honestly, just Ore Industry, and that one does go in a loop. Okay. Let's just be nosy and just see what the bus travel route is like. And I was going to say, this is when the bus is going to like stop there for absolutely forever. There's like one of the mods that I had that you can obviously see involves like or unbunching the buses so that you try not to have a situation where, well, we have a like kind of joking phrase in the UK is like you wait ages for a bus and 3 turn up at once. It does happen because of like actual real life situations and events, but hopefully doing this and setting the unbunching will mean that we have buses come through on all of our stops at a reasonable frequency and the buses get used pretty evenly, and we don't have a situation where there's like 100 people waiting at one stop and they can't get on all the buses, and then they end up timing out on their wait and just deciding, oh, screw that, I'm just going to walk home. But this does look nice. We've got the sun up ahead. Oh, up above, not up ahead. And a little tilt camera view. So obviously along here we do have quite a few traffic lights, so I'm probably going to have to do a bit of traffic management on that. Especially seeing as we don't seem to have proper right-of-way systems either. And probably a bit of node control as well, because the buses keep on flicking from obviously the outside lane to the inside lane when they go across onto like an intersection. Yeah, there we can see unbunching in progress, which is why the buses are waiting at these stops. That person there was actually the first passenger we picked up, probably because this area isn't really that interdeveloped as of yet, but I'm sure we'll see more people using this, especially as our industry areas get built up more and more. I do like how the game looks though, especially when you get down to street level like this. It does look very, very pretty. All the traffic running across there. Okay, anyway, I think we are almost about 50% of the way through this route and it looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that. I love that little solar updraft tower in the background. That looks very nice. So anyway, we will stop following that bus, seeing as it has pretty much reached the residential areas. We have an absolute ton of demand for industry or offices, so let's see We have a strip of offices down here, but that is pretty much it. So let's actually see. Oh, and obviously some offices there as well. So let's put some more down here and see how things go. Yeah, actually almost at the next not sure if you'd call it landmark population, but we are almost at 20,000 people, so that gives us a couple of new options in terms of waste management, an intercity bus terminal and a bus metro hub, and also a solar power plant. So those will be some nice things to have a look at. And so I said we wanted another ferry stop. So double check that obviously is a ferry stop, and we can drop a tool that. And I'm telling you, if / when City Skylines comes around, because I definitely think Paradox is going to be working on that. They really should have a dropper tool, because that has been so useful for me. Just being able to go in and have a look. It's like, okay, what road did I put here? Use a little dropper tool. So 2-lane 2-way without parking spaces. Like that. And that one is larger, so we will go for the smaller one. And once again, we will arch it off the main road and try and keep 2 intersections. That is very annoying that it cut off the power pylons just there, because it was almost in the perfect area. So we go back here. Let's okay, that's toggled the traffic view, so into here and find our ferry line. There we go. So I think, but don't quote me on this. No, okay, it doesn't look like we can actually drag that from the looks of it, so we will have to delete that and redo it, but that isn't going to be much of a hardship. And then just redo our route. No, that is not our route. That is our route. We want that to be there. Remove that so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, no, we can't do that, so we're going to have to do a complete 180. And thankfully, unlike last time, where it looks like we can actually do our little ferry line. I spoke too soon. That is because that's too low. Okay, so we are going to have to get the Move It mod in play and get this raised up a few bits and try and make sure it's not too well, basically we don't want it to be Lombard Street. We don't want to be recreating San Francisco in this. Okay, and another node there. Okay, let's just have a look at that. Okay, so that comes up and a bit high over here for my liking. So if we put that back down, and we'll see if we can get our ferry lines through there this time. Yes, we can. Good. Okay. And we can get it through this area without too much trouble. Not there again. So bring that up. Okay, so I think if we bring that up as high as we want it to go, and then we can obviously angle these up a bit. And then also there. And probably bring this back down a little bit because that does seem to be a bit high. And yep. There we go. And that is back in play. So I will say it will be interesting to see just how many people actually use this now, because we were previously going from just one section of, like, basically here was a shortcut from here to here, which I think most people who lived here and potentially worked here, they just went, well, the road's here, and that was a lot quicker. But now that we actually have our new little industrial zone done, and I don't know why this is refusing behave, but once again delete that and add in our line as it properly should be. Back there, put a stop back there, and all the way back to the beginning. So we already have quite a few people waiting at this stop, which is always nice to see. And how many vehicles is this going to be pushing out? Oh wow, okay, that says 8. Okay, so we probably want to go down to 5 and see how we are doing, because though they can carry, how many passengers? Is it 50 passengers each? It will obviously be a bit of a long route around, and that was apparently not connected to the water. We will resolve that momentarily. And how is this doing? Yeah, so still need some more resources until we reach the next level. This one is almost there. Let's have a quick peek back at this. Offices have all been built. So pretty much what we are needing now is some more commercial areas, and then that will hopefully bring in some demand for more residential stuff. So we will put a couple of connected roads through our residential area here. Do a few curved roads just to make it a bit more interesting. And add in some commercial. And unlike with our previous ones, I will probably find wherever the landscaping is, and we will put in some trees. And we want to have this as a random scattering, most likely. So not quite that large, but definitely something that should hopefully give a bit more of a organic feel to it, in terms of, you know, just basically what's available. And up against the highway, what do we have? That's bamboo and some tropical trees. Like generic tree, large 2, yes. Okay, we will go for that one. And put a few things down and decrease the brush size, and hope that this all manages to control things at least a little bit. And another thing that we can do to try and manage the amount of noise that comes through is to replace our 3-lane highway with a 3-lane highway with additional sound barriers. Unfortunately, we can only do this in the territory that we actually own, so we can't go here because it says it's out of city limits. But what we can do is put it around this area that's next to the residential zones, and that should, between that and the trees, yep, look at that, we are pretty much right next to the highway. But we can see here, like, this section doesn't have any connectors or anything, and it is a slightly darker red than this area, so that has indeed all worked. And I think going back to the landscaping, we will add some more. Let's see, what brush do I want for this one? Okay, yep, that looks fine. We will lay down some of those and lay down some generic green trees, and then for a bit of interest, just kind of make it look nice, have a variety of trees, have a variety of sizes of trees. Oh yes, there we go. That one, the order, is nice. That was like one about the size that I was trying to look for. There we go, there's more trees there. Let's have a look at the noise. Obviously still a bit noisy down what would essentially be the main high street, but that's looking good to me. So we can check down a bit more commercial and just let that run for a bit. We do have a bit of space for residential. I'll go back and fill in these, just remembering to obviously leave that little bit of a buffer between it and the commercial zoning. And then I think I will copper this and add another little curved road intersection across to connect those two areas. That leaves us with a tiny little bit of commercial there, which I don't want, so we will just unzone that. And now let's see how we can manage our situation with our lack of industrial zoning. So I can't remember if this was in the previous stream that I did or the one previous to that one, but I said that if we bought this area, we have the only natural resource we have is some fertile land, which we have got a ton of already, so we can kind of sacrifice it. And I was thinking that we could actually try and extend our industrial zone all the way over here. So that is probably going to involve deleting this intersection and creating a new one, which also means that we're going to have to reroute the railway line a little bit, and then that means that will extend out there. But it does mean we can obviously have the intersection coming off the highway and going down there, and then we can have a flyover coming across this way. So first things first, I will have a look at our intersections, and I have said this many a time before, but pretty much all of these are from the City Skylines workshop on Steam, because I am absolutely atrocious at building any kind of intersections. So I apologise if you are disappointed in the fact that I am not going to be sitting here struggling for half an hour trying to work something out, but instead we will probably put down something like this cloverleaf interchange. That is going to cost us 46,730, should be more than enough. And just to make sure we have enough room, I am going to draw back our railway line to pretty much the edge of where we are at the moment, just so we can make sure that we do indeed have the space to put this down. And I admit I always go a little bit overboard in terms of where we need to draw the roads back to, simply because I'd rather overestimate that. Let's see how we can line these up. Okay, that looks good enough to me, and just need to connect up these bits, and we will just do the straight road as much as we can. Okay, no, I didn't want to do that. The last time I did that, I looked at it, thought, oh, that's very nice, without realising that I was blocking the river and I managed to accidentally flood my city, which was not good. So we want this to be normal, because despite the fact that it is a highway, we are going to be going into a elevated section. So we can bring that back down there, and then we can connect these bits up, and then also these sections, and that should be minimal disruption. And as for the train line, let's have a look. Okay, we wouldn't be able to squeeze anything underneath that, so instead, again, we will eyedropper, just as a convenience thing. Okay, apparently we can't do train tracks until we actually have a road for that. Okay, so never mind, that is lower priority now. I will probably, though, make this a little curved pathway if at all possible. No, okay, so we're going to draw that back and probably make a roundabout out of that, because apparently I am British and I am conditioned to always have roundabouts, but also because they do seem to be one of the better traffic management systems available in the game. So we'll turn the snapping off, and that will come down to, let's do 720 plus to 360, 360 again, and this is coming down that way, so we will turn the coast road back on, connect those up, and then connect that up. Delete the middle lanes, because that is just a method if you don't have any kind of mods or the roundabout creator. That just allows you to ensure that what you are doing is going to be moderately circular. That looks good enough to me, so that is our roundabout. And then we can, oops, that was the wrong road again, drop a tool, and we can bring that in and that out there, and that gives us our highway road connection. So I think if we move back to one of these roads, so a small 4-lane one, and we fork off again, doing something that's, you know, a bit slightly curved, slightly organic, but we obviously don't want it to be too much, because, you know, industry traffic isn't going to want to drive around in circles too much. But if we pretty much put that there, and then straight line with snapping, all the snapping options back on so we can see where we are going, and then back to a straight line there, and conveniently enough, almost as if I planned it, because I actually did, so we can do a cargo train here. And please yell at me if I am doing something majorly, ridiculously wrong, and I am just choosing to jam up all of my transport system rather than actually working with any kind of proper stuff. Yeah, I can't think of the right word. Okay. No, we don't want to do that. We want it to stay on the ground level. Okay, where that is fine. But we actually want it to elevate. And we again bring that back. Okay, yep, we can put that over the road there, and that's no problem. And then curve that round there. And we have our rail line not only connected back up, but that now has a cargo transit area, which will hopefully allow us to get some cargo in and won't screw me over. Okay, what is already here that you are complaining about then? Ah, the ferry line, of course, yes. Probably because, yep, you are set to... Okay, but that can come through to here. And then we can do a similar thing where we obviously elevate the road. I can get the angle right. Go to there. Okay, nope, that was not a good situation for that. And that is deleting a tree, not the path, the road that I wanted. Okay, so can we go down there, and would that would not be okay in terms of the game. So we may have to take a bit of a more roundabout route for that. So if we take that and curve it round, can we still fit it? No, that's still... Oh, I saw blue for a second. I saw blue for a second. There. Okay, that works. So now all we need to do is just figure out how we are going to get the road down to ground level. Well, the easiest solution would probably be to just curve it into this section. Would that work? Yep. Okay, that works perfectly fine. And we have a slight bend in the road here, so I will just move it a tiny bit to readjust that. And that looks, yep, not the best solution, as you can obviously see, but we can create... Okay, yep, I'm just making sure I've got the right way the roads are going, so we can have basically a large industry road across to here, up there and down here, and then make this one into a large industrial road and sweep into here, as well as being able to obviously do what I am about to do, which is to create a little offshoot road. So then we will have an industry section over here as well, which should alleviate some of the complaints that we currently have for that. We'll make it a bit more organic and curved around. And we bring that back there and down to there. Okay, and yeah, you can see all the connections. This is why I don't deal with building my own intersections, because this has just become quite a chaotic mess. But however we can put that there, and as sloppy as it is, we will once again move things around, make sure that we are not going to be putting pylons right in the middle of the roads. Okay. I was going to say that looks good enough to me, but no, this is still a tiny bit off. And okay, how is that looking? That is intersecting the road. We'll just bring that back. Unfortunately, this is a bit bumpy. That's just going to increase basically where the soil is. Okay, that is looking slightly better. It's not perfect, but we will work with that for now. And as well as that, we can fill in some of the road sections here for our industrial areas. Put a connection road up to there and one up to there. Make sure that we bring down a water connection, and that will also be needed for the train station that we have. We'll just connect that up like that and like that, and then start bringing it across to this area as well. Yeah, and that can connect up more or less to that section. That can go to there, and then we can do a few offshoots into there and there. And can this? No, that cannot fill that area, but that can. And just to make sure that everything is okay, we will fill in that tiny little section there. And now that that is all done, we can finally paint a whole load of industry. So we will just do one big block and then unzone the areas that we want to keep industry free, which is pretty much the connector to either the highway, which we don't have in this case, or where they have connectors off to other sectors like these ones here. And this just helps out on the traffic situation and just make sure that we don't have any trucks or the like sitting around there and blocking up the immediate area of the intersections. Okay, that looks pretty good to me, so we will let that run, have a quick look. Yes, electricity. But that is also going to be a pain because that is going to be complaining. Okay, we've got green there. And you are obviously also going to be complaining that you don't have electricity. So we will bring you across there. And hopefully we will start seeing some industry building up there. And of course, speaking of industry, okay, those commercial areas look fine. We still have a bit of space for residential, so that is perfectly acceptable. We are almost almost enough resources for a level 4 oil production field, and our extraction site is about 30 away, so we will get a pop-up when that occurs, and we can come back and have a look to see how it develops. We have got our first generic industry over here. And is there anything that we can really change that into? Obviously we have a campus area and we've got an industry area, parks area, so like forest industry, but we'd obviously need to put that with some woodland, agriculture and grazing, and then ore industry, oil industry, and then back to a generic option. What is this one? Huh. I'm not sure I've ever noticed an industry building that looked like that before, but, you know, it is what it is. And I may actually bring another road around here, because that is looking... not suspect. Suspect isn't the right word, but, I wondered why it wasn't quite curving the way I wanted it to, because it... Okay, and down there. That should have enough. Okay, the game said it had enough clearance for the boats. Evidently the boat lights do not count for that. However, what I will do, just for my own peace of mind, is raise it up a bit. It does mean that the initial part of that bridge is a bit steep. Probably bring it down a tiny bit back to where it was, closer to, and then bump that bit up a bit, and that looks okay. So we have two different routes into the city. Oh, and there we go. Our oil field has reached level 4, and also our ore industry looked like it had reached level 2 as well, which yes it has. So as we have only just started our ore extraction site, we will have a look at that one first. So what new places do we have? We have an ore industry workers barracks, not oil industry. So we could put that right at the entrance there, which I think we will do. We already have the small ore mine, and we have an underground option, though it does need to be put on, again, a pretty smooth area. So we can do a glass manufacturing plant. And we have also an ore storage, which gives us an extra, I think that's 400,000 is tons. But yes, we will put in wherever we can find space for it, or wherever it will fit. And we will have a glass manufacturing thing. And this is pretty much what I was saying about the angle of this, and the fact that it was obviously all quite hilly on this, but thankfully we do have this area over here which we can expand into, which may have more capacity for all of these manufacturing plants and whatnot, and we just keep the mining facilities here and a little bit here. So that is that for now, and back to our oil industries. So we already had the maintenance building. So that says it's a large one. It doesn't look too much. Because I never put that down because I don't think it was worth it. Let me just check. So 4,800 for 8,000, 8,000 for 16, 6,400 for 12, 9,600 for 20. So 2.5 of 4.8, 9. Okay, yeah, so the small ones are technically still better in terms of cost per production rate. We have a large one. We probably won't be using the offshore ones because there isn't any oil offshore. So for now, let's put this one, let's just put it next to some of the other ones and we'll put a second one down. A petrochemical plant. I can't quite remember if we had one of those, so I will just have a look. We have a household plastics factory, an oil sludge pyrolysis plant, a main building, workers' barracks, storage pumps, small warehouse. Okay, yes, we do have 2 petrochemical plants, and then we have an option for a waste oil refining plant, which looks like it is an upgrade of the oil sludge pyrolysis plant. So 4,000 for 25, 8,000 for 35. Okay, so that one is better. And it also has a smaller footprint. Okay. So we actually temporarily, well, I say temporarily remove them. It's not temporarily removing. We're going to be replacing them. We will also pay off that loan as it is only a few thousand. And then we should be able to get at least one of these down. Just wait a moment. Oop. Okay, we have an electricity problem. What has gone on there? Because I've deleted those, that has severed the electricity connection, so we will just connect that back up, and yeah. Oops. As that also needs an electrical connection, and this will be connected up in a moment when we add down our refining plant. So that takes 3, 6, 3, 9. So yep, that has put in an electrical connection. Good. That is just complaining that it didn't have any resources because it was a newly placed down building. That is complaining you don't have any ore. Well, there is some there, and you just got a delivery of that. So that looks good. So need about another 100 workers for our next level. And oh my goodness, you are going to need 300. So we will have to work on this quite a bit. So petroleum. Oh, okay, so you need plastics. And so that is probably because... Didn't I just say that we had a plastics factory as petroleum and plastics? Or did I accidentally just delete? I deleted the wrong thing. That was the petrochemical plant. Or that was the pyrolysis plant. That is the petrochemical plant. Well, whoops, guess we're taking that loan back again. But okay. So we can put one down and that will start producing plastics again. So we can have this one stop complaining. We are needing some new commercial zones from the looks of it. We have a couple of abandoned buildings that are just around. Again, because some of these areas are starting to complain that we don't have enough educated workers. And let's just check our traffic situation. Average traffic flow 82%. We have a few hot spots, but... Okay, so this road cannot be upgraded because it has a landfill site and a medium warehouse on it. So, people... Okay. We've got people stopping here because there is a crosswalk here, and then there was also a crosswalk there, which is very, very aggravating. So which one? There is one of these. There we go. Junction restrictions, where we can basically tell you, nope, you are not allowed to cross here. You are only allowed to cross up here. And we also have like no turning, no parking, no lane changing, no turning around, but we will allow pedestrians to cross there because I believe... Yeah, okay. That is the only crossing area for a good while for all of this. However, I will turn it off here and here because there is a crossing up here. And actually, you know what? You're allowed to cross there because there isn't a good one for you to really do it on this side of the road. So we have 57 passengers serviced on that last week, so that looks good. So we have 19 passengers in total. But yeah, that is 5 vehicles is still too many. So anyway, if we just put that back up to 100% and we put this down to 3 vehicles, because we have this one here that is pretty much reaching the end of the route with 52 people. We have 32 waiting at this stop. But unfortunately, apparently some of them are timing out, so I may reverse that decision and put back in a 4th one. It seems to be the main thing is down here where we have the line starting. People are a bit not bored as such, but impatient. They've been waiting for long enough for a ferry to come across. Oh, we are almost at 20,000 people. Can we add some more commercial down here? Yes, we probably could do it all the way down here. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, keeping a respectful mind for our residential areas and making sure we don't build up too close to them. But I think probably leaving it there will be fine, and just to make sure we will dot in a few more trees of varying descriptions. And probably need some in the middle down here because we might have this section be more of a commercial district and then this section be more of a residential area. But yes, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I took the time to think about things, plan it through, figure out that yes, this section is going to be right by the highway, so we'll put some noise dampening methods in, which look to have worked pretty well. We have some noise pollution from the commercial zone over there, but I think that's probably going to be, you know, managed as much as we can. But we can definitely see a difference in the level of noise pollution over there. Actually just see what the land value of some of these places is. So again, still down here in what I would consider the touristy section, down to Old Town is still fairly popular. Okay, that is apparently really complaining about electricity. Apparently I zoned in way more industrial than we actually were using, but never mind. We can just connect that back up. And probably also take a quick peek at where some of these people are coming from. So that looks like industry picking up things and taking it Okay, I don't like the idea that you are potentially picking up things from the cargo station and going all the way through there. But we do have purple, which is private vehicles, and teal, which is cyclists. So we do have some cyclists coming through here, and obviously working at the cargo train station. Let's see here. So we have brown is trucks and pink is public transport and cargo. So that looks fine to me, and also some private vehicles from people who are working around this area. So what I really like to see in situations like this is not very many purple vehicles, which, you know, is a bit... Well, we don't really have too many public transport options. We have a number of bus routes for these town areas, but we don't have like a metro system. We obviously have the ferry around here, but that is a like slow-paced method. Unfortunately, bringing anything in like the trams or the trains would result in needing to reconfigure our transport situations. But that might be a task for another episode. And one thing I have been neglecting is our education, because we have our elementary schools here, but none up here. So let's see where we can put an elementary school where it will be most useful and avoid destroying more buildings than is necessary, if at all possible, which it doesn't look like. So yeah, this is always one of the issues. It's like you plan out your city on like what you're going to do, what your main thing is going to be, and then you realise that you actually need like X, Y, or Z. So I will put this. I don't really want it on the main road. And okay, that's not covering nearly as much area as I would like, but I will put it down there. So that has given people a nice interest in that. How is our high school doing? So we have 2 high schools down, and we probably want one around this residential zone. So we could actually put it by the ferry, and that would potentially mean that we have some... I was going to say some potential like high school students from here across to there, but no. That's the fact that they would have to go all the way down here where there's no public transport to begin with. Okay, what are you complaining about in here? Not enough buyers for products. Right, so we may have saturated the market on that a little bit. And obviously we have 5,000 people eligible for university, but we don't have any put down because I was planning on using naturally the Campus Life DLC and creating our own little campus area. But what we can do in lieu of that, I believe that was... Okay, no, that is not a... Okay, that is a high school, it's just not showing up as one. Okay, there we go, that's better. So we can put a public library right outside the high school. We can have one there, and... Oh goodness, it is quite large. I'm not sure this would really fit in to any of these areas, unfortunately. Yes, the one downside of having all of these lovely rounded paths, you struggle to find places to put things. So anyway, we have a second library put down there. We can pay off that smaller loan. And unfortunately we are in a bit of a population dip. So again, remove you. We do have some residential demand. Okay, we do have people like starting to settle in here, at least for a bit. We'll extend out that commercial area and get some more interest going for that. And what else can we do? We could probably do another small road across this intersection here, and that would add in a bit more, or a bit of more space for some residential. And probably similarly here. Change that up a bit. Okay, actually remove that bit. Zone you as residential. Zone you as a little bit of commercial. And I think we should have some good tree coverage there just to dampen the sound down a bit. And then we can put some more zoning down there. A couple more trees just to make things look nice. Put it around the boundaries. Kind of shield it a little bit from the industrial areas, as it were. So I think pretty much we have accomplished at least what we initially set out to do, which was to start leveling up, or to create our ore industry area and start leveling up our oil industry. So yes, I think here we are probably going to be slightly limited by the irregularity of the ground. It's going to be slightly unfortunate. We might be able to just put a large ore mine in here, presuming it's not going to be too big. But that now gives us 335 worker job options. So if we put down a second, not in industry area, so you are going to complain about that. I'm not quite sure we can fit 2 of these in here. Nope, we can't. We can fit another one down there. And let's see how many job options that gives. 415, so pretty much the entirety of the jobs available in this area will need to be taken up for that to be able to go up to the next level. We have still 83% traffic flow, so again we still have a few hot spots around. Can I upgrade this road to make things a bit easier? Yes, I can. Okay, that's good. We will have to potentially... Oh dear, I didn't realise that I'd okay. There we go. So if we change that, and then we can go back to not the trees, to that, and then we can... No, that's just the opposite of what I wanted to happen. There we go. Okay. And then back to the previous one. Or not, seeing as it's being annoying. Hey. I will get this sorted out, I promise. We may just have to delete a bit of the roads and then just make sure that we have them properly set. No, I was going to say you were perfectly fine earlier. Let's just move this road back again a bit. There we go. And back to here. Okay, so if we just take it from there and then he's seriously complaining you can't build on water. We are not trying to build on water, we are building on shorelines. Hey. I don't quite know what this is doing, but... Oh, hey, okay, yes, because I'd accidentally blocked up the river. This is now thinking that I am flooding the city again. I am not doing well with this. But it does mean that we can adjust things a little bit. Put that there. Bring that back a little bit. And try and adjust these angles a bit more. Oh, okay. Minimal flooding in our industrial zone. But we should be able to resolve that. Yes, cannot build on water, so I'm going to need to wait for the flooding to dissipate, which should be not too long, but yes, apparently I should have an award. Most accidental city floodings. I will consider that good enough for now. And obviously, seeing as we do still have the issue where we have a connection okay, so we could move it across there, but that wouldn't be necessarily that amazing. We can probably move the incineration plant down and then we can delete that road and then make this a connection straight through to there. So that is obviously not amazing, but it will do us at least for the time being, and that should mean also that we don't have, obviously, like we had one intersection right here and then another intersection right here. So let's just see if we can do a bit of lane mathematics and lane management. So we basically want all of these lanes, so the ones that, okay, I'm gonna have to move this around to actually figure it out. So all the ones that go just to the lane to the right of them, pretty much yep, you can go straight. And then obviously the ones that are going to be going to the, or straight on, and then to their left. And do we want this road here to have priority or that road here to have priority? Well, if we just sit here and have a quick check, we can probably see what sections might need to be adjusted a little bit. So unfortunately this is going to create a little bit of a traffic jam while everyone reconfigures their routes and where they are planning on going. One thing I will do is come back here and I will remove all pedestrian crossings and we will make a pedestrian little walkway. We have one here, not the most amazing, but you know, it works. There's no crossings there, so okay, that actually looks like it's pretty much cleared up on its own, which is nice to see. So if we go to paths and parkways and we just want honestly the not the most basic one we have, but we can go like that and like that, and then we can just add in our little walkways down. But unfortunately there's not enough space there to put one also coming down from that area, but we can do there and we can also do here. So again, it's not perfect. It's like I'd rather be able to make that as an octothorpe or a hash. But, you know, it does give pedestrians like, an option to cross over a pretty busy intersection. And okay, I know what I just said, but I think we will give right away to the street down here. No, sorry, that was the wrong thing. We want right away, left to right, because that seems to be what has the most traffic coming through, and then up and down can hopefully I will put that down as stop signs rather than give way, because up and down are still trying to push their way through. So yep, okay, that looks good there. We'll head back over to our oil industry. I cannot click on the name for whatever reason, so never mind. Oh, yes, because I've still got Traffic Manager open. Okay, 550 workers, and we are about halfway on the produced resources to get to level 5. Okay, there. That seems to be doing pretty nicely. So that is all storage. So at level 5 we will have a naphtha cracker plant, which is another plastics one. So for now we will probably put down a second petrochemical plant. Maybe actually make it a third nestled behind there. And then we also probably want to make sure we have a couple more drilling rigs just to make sure that we have enough crude oil coming through to manage that. And look at that, we have reached a grand city, so this now enables us to take our third loan, as well as a few different options for additional power, waste processing and transport options on our city. So what is the next one? So reach a population of 34,000, which gives us the university campus area. So let's actually take a quick look. So we have the trade school option available and the liberal arts option available, but the proper university campus won't be available until the next milestone. And then of course we also have museums and varsity sports options. However, these museums don't unlock until we get one of each of the universities up to a prestigious reputation. However, we can have an aquatic centre, basketball arena, track and field stadium and a baseball park. Which has also reminded me that oh dear, whoops. So for one, this area has been slightly neglected in terms of parks and recreation, and for another, there is no healthcare or death care facilities around. So what can we put down? We have a yoga garden, a community pool, sports hall and gymnasium, which we don't actually have enough money for. A sauna. We can put down a crematorium. So let's put that there. That should. Let's just give it a second to tick by. Yep, that covers pretty much the entirety of the area. So we don't need to put down any other facilities for that. And then we can put a health centre there. So, reaching 20,000 population, I think this may be the furthest I've really gotten with an individual city. And for that, I think I will probably call it an episode. We have, like I said, accomplished bumping up our oil production facilities, and we have also made a start on our ore extraction site. So our next plan for our ore industry is probably going to be expand out here and make a secondary area, and then possibly start building on a campus area here. Obviously allow this industrial zone to keep expanding, and then, well, let's just take a look. No, we can't build, we can't buy another sector of, or another tile just yet, but I think that is looking pretty okay. So not enough special goods, not enough buyers for products, so we need some more commercial zoning, which I might actually try and link up this bit with like an actual high density commercial area, so that's more like a central shopping zone. But yeah, I think we've been pretty successful and pretty accomplished on this for this episode. So for today, I think I will say goodbye and thank you all very much for watching, everyone. It's been nice to see people like pop in and have a bit of a chat, but it's also been nice knowing that there have been people that have put this on and sat back and just decided to enjoy themselves for a bit. So we have the next planned stream of this at Friday 2 PM GMT. You can check my Twitch account and there should be a schedule and a countdown timer there, and then the stream, next planned stream after that, we are going to be going back to Stellaris Nemesis and dealing with our three-way war part 2. Unfortunately, I don't have great expectations for that one, but for now, thank you very much for watching and bye bye for now.